This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Beterbiev-Yarde. We are at the Human Research Facility in Kensington and I'm joined by promoter Frank Warren. Frank, firstly, how are you doing?
I'm fine. What about yourself?
I'm good. Obviously, a nice little chilled Sunday for myself. Don't think it was the same for you. On the back of an eventful Saturday.
Yeah.
But let's obviously get really down to the reason we're here. The research facility, as we said, the human facility. What do you make of it all, Frank?
Well, it's brilliant, isn't it? It's all about 21st century technology for athletes and boxers, and certainly boxers. It's tremendous, and Hamza's been using this facility for a while now, and I think that it's obviously helped him. And I'm speaking with a doctor today, and you listen to what's being said, and you listen to where they're coming from. I mean, it's excellent. It's a brilliant facility.
Frank, would you ever imagine when you first entered the sport that kind of science would play such a big part in it moving forward?
Well, it does. It has. It's not just us, is it? In boxing, it's all sports. I mean, I can remember footballers half time coming off and smoking a fag. Jimmy Greaves and players having a fag and then going out on the piss afterwards, and certainly on the piss the day before before the show. Some of them. So everything's moved on. Rugby players. I mean, they were always on the booze. I mean, they were booze. It's just it is what it is. But I think in this day and age, obviously technology is there. Technology is there, and they know more and more about the body and the mind, and they apply that successfully to a sport, which is great.
Frank, moving on to Hamza, his next outing, obviously next weekend, back out. Francisco Torres, the man in the opposite corner. What are you hoping to see from him in this outing, Frank?
I just want to see him doing what he does, which is his second fight at middleweight. I want to see that show that he's comfortable at the weight, which I think it suits him down to the ground. He's a big guy, and I just want to see him go out there and do a job. Every fight he has, he improves. He's looking better and better. He's maturing really well as a fighter. He's got a real sensible head on his shoulders. He's a very sensible guy. I think he's a credit to his family and he's a credit to boxing. And I really do see him, and I hope that he'll go all the way, because I think for British sport, I think he's a 21st century British sportsman, and he can cross over and be something a little bit special. He'd be a great ambassador for boxing and certainly for sport and his country.
I asked him about the domestic scene, just Frank. Obviously, a lot of middleweight, some great fights. Middleweight there can be as well. He said, provided kind of promotional disputes can be overcome, there's fights there. But the one in your stable is Denzel Bentley. Do you think that's a fight we could see anytime soon?
Yeah, I'm sure that could happen soon. It's a fight that both of the fighters want. And let's see how we can get this together. But I'm going to get the one out of the way on the 16th first of all. I don't see him fighting. He won't fight at light middleweight anymore. That's not going to happen. Anybody who's light middleweight wants to fight him, they're going to have to come up to middleweight.
Just going back to this weekend, Frank, a bit of time just to look back on it. Joe Joyce looking as destructive as ever. Yeah,
a year out of the ring, broken wrist. He came back. He wasn't frightened about throwing his punches. He wasn't concerned about the injury to his wrist. He took a few shots, got the cobblers out of his system. I obviously want to see his defence improve, but more importantly, for me, the good things were the variety of punches that he threw. I mean, he was relentless, walking forward, letting his shots go, and great headshots, but some brilliant body shots, which is eventually what he stopped Hammer with.
We know about Joe's position in the WBO rankings, Frank. When are you actually hoping to see that one called?
Well, you got to wait until this fight happens on the 20th. I mean, we all keep talking about it, and I keep saying the same thing. Once that's settled, then the decision's going to have to be made. Will there be a unification involving Tyson Fury or not? If there's not, then they will call for the respective mandatory challenges to be made, and they are behind schedule, and they will have to be done. And Joe's there, and also Daniel Dubois there. So it's a great position.
What do you think's most likely, Frank? Whether it's AJ or Usyk who wins, that they can tempt Tyson out of his retirement, or they will look towards, i.e. Joe Joyce or Dubois being called?
It would be Tyson's choice. Tyson's the main man. He's the guy. He's the lineal champion. He's the number one, and it'll all be down to what he wants to do. It's not down to anybody else. The only one who make their mind up whether Tyson fights is Tyson Fury.
What do you believe happens on August 20th, Frank, between AJ and Usyk?
I think it's, I can only go back on what I've seen, excuse me, on their strengths and weaknesses. And I I was quite surprised how easily Usyk handled him in the first fight. And it seemed to me he was boxing to orders. I mean, he was out there. He wasn't out there trying to take him out. And there was a couple of times in the fight, certainly in the last round, where I think he could have stopped him. And I think this time round, I think he will stop him. And this is not a rematch like he had with Ruiz, who trained in his larder. This fella is a complete athlete, Usyk. He's trained hard. He's in camp. He takes it seriously. So I think he's going to have his hands full. And he's not going to get any home advantage this time.
AJ's mentality has obviously changed now, but he said something the other day. I just want to put to you, get your thoughts. I thought I was looking like Muhammad Ali in there. I didn't get the impression I was losing. That's why when they announced Usyk's name, I was kind of like, huh?
Well, the only nearness he had to Muhammad Ali is probably when Muhammad Ali was about 60 years of age. He didn't look like no Muhammad Ali to me. He was behind in that fight all the way through. I had Usyk well in front, and Usyk was giving him a boxing lessons. You could hear some of the stuff in the corner where they were telling him he was doing well. Now, I didn't get that either. But the fact of the matter is, he wasn't like Muhammad Ali, and the fact is, at one stage he was 100% ready to go. No doubt about it. He wobbled, and that last round, they were ready to throw the towel in. You could see them ready to do that.
Just a few other quick things I want to work through, Frank. Obviously, we never saw Callum Johnson on Saturday night. What was the situation with him, or Nathan Heaney, right?
Well, he was injured.
Heaney or Johnson?
Both of them were injured. That's why they didn't fight.
When you're hoping to get both of them next out then?
When they're fit.
Any inkling as to when that may be?
I don't know. You better ask them when they're fit. I don't know.
Beterbiev-Yarde, what is the latest there?
I think we're quite close to getting that sorted out. Everybody agrees that it's going to happen, and we're going to do that in October.
Jake Paul Roth has put another tweet out saying Wednesday's the cut-off for Tommy to get to the embassy and see if he can get over there. Are you confident?
Well, he's put out his statement, and I can understand where he's coming from. He's got a show coming up on August the 6th. He wants to get somebody. If it's not Tommy, he wants somebody in there. If Tommy hasn't got his Esther by then it won't happen.
I was just wanting an update, Frank, as to what happened with David Avanesyan. Obviously, we was expecting to see him face Virgil Ortiz, and things just went quiet there. Instead, we'll see Ortiz McKinson.
David Avanesyan, and I think the WBC put a notice out to all the promoters or the people involved with all the fighters in the top 3 or 4, saying they were looking to resolve the situation and what's going to happen with their title. And at this moment in time, for all of us to keep our tongue between our teeth until they sort out what they're doing. So that's exactly what I'm doing.
That's fair enough, Frank. Chisora Pulev too. You going to tune in Saturday night?
Yeah, I watch all the fights. I won't specifically stay in to watch it, but I will watch it.
What do you make of Derek in that fight? Would you think he'll be successful?
Who knows? He's lost 3 on the trot now, hasn't he? He's lost 3. Who knows? I mean, I've got no idea. It is what it is.
Right, Frank, we'll leave that there now because I know you're a busy man. You've got to shoot off. So I appreciate your time as always. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.